Hey, good Friday night to you, everyone. I'm WCIA3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We are watching some blowing and drifting snow and expecting things to get a little worse tonight. And that is going to cause some problems for us here into the region. So we're going to talk more about that and continue to update you on that. Also, we're going to take a look at radar and talk about a unique scenario that's unfolding in northern Illinois. They've got snow squall warnings up there, and a long line of them through northern Illinois into eastern Iowa. So we're going to talk about that and more. Let me know where you're watching from and what questions you have as we take a look here. We're going to take a look at our sky cams, of course, and monitor things from afar, but certainly with the view in Champaign right now, there's some wrestling happening and some nice quiet weather. Yes, it's windy out there, and that will cause some issues with things, and we're going to take a look at all of our cameras here in a little bit, but certainly with the temperatures where they are, it feels quite relatively warm. Might be what we want to say here. So that is what we're looking at, and we're going to bring this back full here, and I had to reset some graphics for you. Let's take a look here at our current winds out there. It's breezy out there. First off, our sustained winds right now are out of the south and west. Most of the day they've been generally out of the south. That turning is causing the wind to shift and the blowing and drifting to shift in directions as well. Now more of our north-south roads are being affected here, and really some of those stretches are being impacted, especially I-74 from Champaign north and west to Bloomington, perpendicular to those roads here. Seeing some issues. We're also only seeing the blowing and drifting snow where the snow has fallen. That's the other thing to mention here. But look at some of these gusts. Pontiac up to 31, 23 in Bloomington, 29 in Decatur. It's been even more blustery off to the north. And that is going to bring wind gusts of greater than 30 miles an hour into the region here. You see these wind gust forecasts. Here we are by midnight, estimating 25 to 45 mile an hour wind gust, and the change is out of the north and northwest with this line coming on through. That north and northwest wind is going to bring in lots of colder air as well, but it's going to be very important for the blowing and drifting because now we're reversing the direction and catching the other side of the roads with that here. And those strong winds are going to last all the way through tomorrow morning, even still 4 or 5 a.m. We've got area wide 25 to 35 mile an hour gust. Finally, once the sun comes up tomorrow, things start to relax, but we're still going to have issues with that here. So the wind is going to be important to the forecast for tonight. I want to mention first off, here we are in central Illinois. We are dry. There's an interesting scenario up to the north that I want to point out to you. First off, this is along a cold front here, a very narrow line of snow showers, but it's also very intense in nature. It's intense enough where they've actually issued what they call a snow squall warning. See these white boxes here? Snow squall warning, a very unusual setup where you've got strong gusty winds and a heavy snow here. That's a pretty intense little band sneaking on in. You can see here from, the North Chicago suburbs, Lake County, through, looks like it'd be past Belvedere, coming into Rochelle, off to the south and west. A very narrow but thin line of heavy snow and strong winds coming with that. And that's what we call a snow squall here. That white polygons extend all the way to the Quad Cities. Kewanee, Quad Cities, you got LaSalle, Peru right here. Not quite there yet for I-80 east of I-39, but it's moving to the south and east. A snow squall is a very interesting scenario where you actually would get an alert on your phone if there's a snow squall warning issued. Your wireless emergency alerts, the same ones that tell you there's a tornado warning or a dangerous severe thunderstorm warning, these can also be the case. It's a sudden onset of a snow system with intense bursts of snow and wind combined. And what that does is it leads to whiteout conditions and rapidly deteriorating road conditions. There's a lot of problems in northern Illinois from this narrow band of snow. Some of those wind gusts have been 45 to 55 miles an hour up there. Here in central Illinois, we will not be that strong, but still for travel-related concerns, I think most of us probably don't have to travel tonight, but you get the idea that what happens tonight may impact tomorrow morning if you're wanting to head out here. Also, short duration, an hour, maybe 30 minutes of that most intense squall coming on through, and that's it. Similar to that last little squall that came through central Illinois on Thursday evening before the snow ended. It was a little heavier, but something quick coming on through can put down a quick amount of snow in a short period of time. That's in northern Illinois. The idea and thought process is that the more it goes to the south, the more it will weaken. but still we'll have blustery winds. We will have a change in wind direction. So blowing and drifting snow going to be a problem. Anyways, I don't think we get any heavy snow from this. I think more than anything for us here in central Illinois, the wind would be the factor for us. And because of that, we've gone ahead and upped our impacts forecast, and we've put it to the areas where we've seen the greatest amount of snow, north here along the I-55 corridor, into the high category. And I can tell you just from driving myself from Clinton to Farmer City to Bellflower, Gibson City, and even down 47 to Mahomet, it was not a fun drive by any stretch in the storm tracker with the blowing and drifting snow. For example, in Bellflower, if you're familiar with that on the Highway 54 curve, on the southeast side of town there, I went from road was clear, around the curve the snow had drifted over. It was about 6 inches thick right there, and it really made my car slip around a little bit. And so certainly that can be a bit of a problem, especially at nighttime. You don't expect it. You're seeing those conditions, the visibility deteriorate. So where we've had the highest snow is the greatest concern for tonight into tomorrow morning with the blowing and drifting snow. Plows have to get out, especially on those rural roads, those 2-lane roads. I do think interstates are a lot better. There's a few slick spots on there. Of course, much of the efforts by IDOT has been on the main thoroughfares. The interstates, your lesser traveled roads are the ones I think they're going to have problems here. We've got lessening impacts because we've had less snow to the south, but still the wind may cause some problems along I-70, the crosswinds, especially if 35 to 40 mile an hour gust. And if there's just a couple of slick spots, add it together, and that's a recipe where there could be some problems down there. But we're going to call it lower impacts. I'm going high impact up here, though, on the I-55 corridor with those strong blustery winds and the areas that saw 4 to 8 inches of snow. These are the snowfall totals here from the National Weather Service, and you see, some of those places that have had the highest amounts: Mahomet, Jacksonville, even to the north there, Bloomington, Normal, Pontiac, where they've had the most snow in those areas. That's where I think the most drifting and blowing will occur. For this here, through midnight, we've got some blowing and drifting out there. There's some spots on highways where, yes, there's some light blowing and, maybe in a spot or two, some heavier amounts here and there. Rural roads are having some problems. There's only so much they can do in situations like this. But after midnight, I think, is when the wind shifts. That's when the problems really begin from north to south in the area, especially in the heaviest amounts. And that's going to be for a few hours, which could impact tomorrow morning early. You're going somewhere 5, 6 in the morning, maybe even 7 in the morning. There will probably be some blowing and drifting that causes some problems with roads. But early Saturday, wind chills are also below 0, but we start to see with some sunshine, things melt again. That helps it out. But the melting today has given the chance for some moisture on roadways to freeze, especially with temperatures dropping the way they do. Wind chills tomorrow real quick. Here we go. Look at that. We're down below 0 again. The actual air temperature gets to the single digits in teens. I'll mention that for you real quick. You can see here, there's that cold air settling on in by the morning. Below 0 wind chills. We've got air temperatures near 10. And at some point, too, you get down to 10, 9, 8 or so. Your traditional treatments don't work as well. You can salt and brine all you want, but they become less effective, and that leads to more slick spots. So that's why, again, I'm concerned for some of the blowing and drifting out there, and why we've gone ahead and upped the impacts in areas that have seen the greatest amount of snow to high, with gusty winds 30 to 40 miles an hour likely there. That's going to cause some issues in rural areas. All right, let's talk real quick about next week. More coming. Everyone's favorite. We've got 2 systems on the way next week. They're back-to-back systems. I will mention with that, System 1, Monday, Tuesday, we actually warm up. Sunday, we're in the 40s. Monday, Tuesday, we're in the 50s before the Tuesday afternoon temperatures drop. System number 1 slides on by. A cold rain, probably not going to be anything to worry about. Yeah, with some wind and some rain, maybe it'll be like a wet sneeze out there, but it's not going to cause any significant problems. Thursday, Friday, particularly Thursday next week, I think is a day to watch. That low pressure track is more to the south. And generally when we see it to the south, you're on the snowier, the colder side of things. We know temperatures drop behind System 1. And so if we can pull enough moisture, snow, rain, and even ice will be on the table. And my gut feeling this time is we'll have to watch the ice a little closer than we have the last 2. Yes, we've had some ice, but we'll see how it shakes out. All of those options are going to be on the table. System number 2, Thursday will be a bit higher impact. At this point, we're just looking at the big picture. what's the patterns supportive of? What's it hinting us with? Day 4 to 5, you start getting a little closer to specifics. It's usually not 2, 3, 4 days out. Then you can really nail down that timing. And 1 to 2 days out, you can say, this is ice amounts, these are snow totals. We're still a ways away, but pattern recognition tells us that system number 2 is in the right place to perhaps bring us more wintry mix on Thursday. That's what I have for you. I would love to answer questions. If you've got questions on road conditions, right now a lot of them are okay. There are some spots where they're covered, but I think with the change in wind direction, that's going to bring problems in the opposite direction. South wind through the day today has drifted a lot of those, on the east-west roads, it's drifted the eastbound lanes. We get a north and west wind, it's going to drift the other side and going to drift even the north-south roads too here in the region, and especially where we've had that band of 4 to 8 inches of snow in areas to the north there, that is where I'm most concerned. So I've gone ahead and upped that for impacts to travel and roads tonight into tomorrow. Again, I think interstates are going to be mainly good. There will be slick spots. It won't be a breeze to go through, for a lack of better words, or no pun intended, but it still, I think, will be much better than where we were last night and this morning with all of the problems that were out there, especially from Bloomington to Champaign and over towards Lincoln down towards Springfield, those harder hit areas. But still, I want to at least let you know that if you're in rural areas, you're taking the 2-lane state highway, the county blacktop, those are the roads that will have some blowing and drifting, especially if you had you were in an area that got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of snow. If you got 1, 2 inches, you'll still have a little bit, won't be as bad. If you didn't get any snow, you're just going to have blustery winds tonight, and we see that generally shift from north to south, from the higher to the lower, and that's going to affect the impacts for tonight. All right, that is what I have. I got to log off. We have got a newscast to go at 10 o'clock. Hope you join me then. I will mention you want to look at snow totals. I've got a list of them on our website, WCIA.com, from viewers and the National Weather Service, and we put updates on there for what we know. Some areas haven't had any reports just because there's been no reports made. If you got a report, we always take them. You can always send those our way by email or on Facebook, and then we'll keep an update. I'll be back also 8 a.m. tomorrow, and then Jack, he'll be in around probably 3 or 4 in the morning as well with more updates on social. So just be aware. Blowing and drifting, probably going to cause some issues in areas that have seen the greatest amount of snow. That's in the red areas outlined behind me. That's what I got. Hope to see you at 10 o'clock on TV. If not, we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. as well. Take care.